Alright. Hello internet people and welcome to the channel. Today I am talking about adult cartoons. Yes, because once you turn 18, you're no longer allowed to like shows like SpongeBob, Regular Show, Teen Titans. No, you're an adult. You get to watch shows like Big Mouth, where you get to watch kids, middle schoolers, go through puberty.
What the fuck?
Obviously, it's just being a hater, but what kind of drugs do you have to be on to come up with a show about that topic, you know? Like one day you just wake up and like think, yeah, I'm gonna think about the show, make a whole story about this, go to a boardroom with a whole bunch of like grown men and women and pitch this idea. Like who did this? Show me who came up with this show. Oh. Anyway, we'll get back to that weird ass show in a bit. Before we get started, I just want to apologize to anyone that watches and enjoys these shows. I'm not going after you as a person, I'm just showing my distaste for these kind of shows, you know? And also because I myself dabble in a lot of adult cartoons, which we'll get to that in a bit, but yeah, some of them are just better than the ones I'm about to talk about right now. So with that out of the way, let's get into it. Adult cartoons really started gaining traction around the 90s and 2000s with like iconic shows like Simpsons, Family Guy, South Park, you know, all that good stuff, you know? And basically any other show that came on after 11 p.m. Anywho, the popularization of these shows really sparked around the mid to late 2000s with a little sub-channel called Adult Swim. Yes, the infamous TV block that housed crude and violent shows like Aqua Teen Hunger Force, Robot Chicken, King of the Hill. Well, that's just an example. I really like King of the Hill, so I can't hate on it too much. They also revived Toonami, which is great for the American anime scene, which I am a frequent and avid watcher of. But unfortunately, they allowed one show to air, and this one show is the reason I blame for the giant influx of terrible adult shows now, and that show is Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty was a show that I unfortunately liked a lot during its first few seasons. Even with its shortcomings such as their very sexual jokes, some of them went a little too far, and some of them just seemed like the writer's fetishes was put on the screen, you know? Like, it was really fucking weird. I don't know why the fuck they did this, but like, I don't know who the fuck greenlit some of these episodes. Like, it was just extremely bad and weird. Like, we'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, other than that, it was really interesting to follow for the first few seasons because they had like a good story, good plot, good animation here and there. Especially with the Evil Morty plot, that was really interesting, and I just wanted to watch the end of it, but never really got to it. At least not where I stopped, at least. Then it just started getting really weird, like, especially with their family relationships, like, some borderline incest things started going on, and then, like, not even borderline, just straight up just incest just shown on the screen. Well, not really shown, but, like, it was basically some incest shit, you know? Anyway, I have compiled a list of weird, gross humor from Rick and Morty. It's very short, but it'll get my point across. So let's see here. Rick having sex with a planet. The giant incest baby in space, which was from Morty and Summer. That was really fucking weird. A guy being an incestuous cannibal, which was from the Mother's Dreamland thing. I don't remember that episode that much, but it was really fucking weird. And then lastly, we have Morty getting assaulted by a jelly bean looking thing in one of the fucking dimensions that they went to, so yeah, I don't think I need to bring up any more of that show, but the reason I did is because I feel like this is where most of the modern humor for most animated cartoons, of course they're animated.
Anyways,
I feel like this is where most of the modern humor came from. And the fact that we let all this humor slide by is, I think, the reason why they feel like they can be just more crass and vulgar and just get away with it, you know? A lot of these new shows just follow the same formula at this point, and they just feel like a copy-paste of each other, so yeah, which kind of sucks, you know? Because you can be a lot more creative than just sex, gross jokes. Yeah, some of these shows just copy each other's art style to the point where I can show you two screenshots from two different shows, and I can tell you that they're from the same episode. Like, here, let's do it real quick. Hold on, let me see. Would you believe me if I said that these two screenshots are from the same episode? Probably not, because I told you what I was doing, but the screenshot on the left is from Hoops, and the screenshot on the right is from Paradise PD. So this clearly illustrates my point of these shows are basically a copy-paste of each other, and they are full of slop that recycle the same art, jokes, and the worst plot points ever conceived. Do not quote me on that last point. I have not watched enough of these shows or plan to watch these shows to know if that's true, so my bad. But I have unfortunately watched Paradise PD, which is a show about police department, as the name implies, and they go on weird, wacky adventures that does not relate to their job in any form whatsoever, and that really bothers me a lot. I do not enjoy seeing like shows that do not relate to the main point of their show. I'll read you some descriptions real quick. Episode 2. Yes, the second episode of the entire show. Bullet, the off-brand Brian Griffin, finds fame and glory in an underground fighting ring. Episode 8. A cash-strapped Dusty auctions off his virginity on the dark web. Doesn't seem like something a cop would be doing, but I guess. Season 2, Episode 2. On Kevin Sucks Day, Fitz hunts down a new meth supplier. The chief discovers Karen's secret fetish, and Kevin vows to thwart an embarrassing prediction. Season 3, Episode 10. The mutants enter Stage 3 in their quest for revenge. Gina's family kidnaps Kevin. The chief worries his unborn child has it in for him. As you can see, not the most cop-oriented show. It's not a bad thing, it's just not a good thing either, because most of the characters and the cast have no growth, has no end goal. It's just so one-dimensional and so fucking boring. Like, the way that you are introduced to the characters is the exact same way that you end up with them by the end of the show. At least with some of the shows that we were talking about earlier, like the characters and cast have some complexity or dimensionality to them, you know? Like, they have more to them than just like being, oh, the fat guy, or the weird guy, or the woman in the crew, you know? Here it's just like, bleh. I don't know how to explain it. It's just really trashy, you know? Kind of trashy, yeah. Anyway, enough of that show. I just want to list off some other shows that I've watched, and I heavily did not recommend watching them. First, we have Big Mouth. Second, we have the spin-off show of Big Mouth, Human Resources. Third, we have Rick and Morty after season 3. Some shows that are similar to Paradise PD, so like Brickleberry. So this is like the Paradise PD for Paradise PD was a thing. Mama Named Me Sheriff. Honestly, I have not watched this one, but I found it around Google, but just look at it. Does it scream quality to you? And Greensburg. I don't know about this one either, but I just saw it on Google as well, and it does not seem good. And there are probably 100 more shows that I can recommend not to watch, but I'm only one guy. I can only handle so much garbage. Anyways, these shows are the pinnacle of my argument, which are they all have the same lifeless art style, same gross and crude humor, and terrible writing and plots all around, you know? Like, who's watching these? Like, who's giving them, like, 7+ seasons of these shows? Anyways, now that we exhausted my hatred for these shows, I want to show you some of my adult cartoons that I think are better and deserve to be on your watch list. First on the list, which may surprise you, is Rick and Morty. I know, you're probably like, Fern, weren't you seeing on them like a little bit ago? What do you mean it's one of your favorites? Well, it's because I really enjoyed the show when they were building up to the evil Morty plotline. Then it started getting too long, and a lot of later seasons just didn't make any progress towards it, and I just kind of dropped it. But yeah, Rick and Morty in the earlier seasons was really pretty peak, but now it kind of dropped off. I heard they made a small comeback, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to watch that, so if you're watching it, good for you. Anyway, moving on. F is for Family. It's another good show that I thought I would not like at first, but I ended up really liking it a lot. The premise of the show being around the 70s really made it really likable and really like intriguing to watch, mainly because of the external factors that played into the characters' lives, such as the economy, the post-Vietnam War, and all the culture around the time, like the hippie era, all that good stuff. And it was really fun to watch. Yeah, in this show, there's like no real end goal to it, which I know I had a problem with some other shows that I was talking about earlier. But in this one, it didn't really need an end goal because you were like watching like almost like a piece of history throughout the whole show. You're just like peering into someone's life and seeing how like the 70s were basically. And even though it didn't have an end goal, it has some good closure. I feel like anyone could appreciate a good closure, so 9 out of 10 for me. Anywho, next on the list is Inside Job. I really like the concept of the deep state and like the usage of like mainstream conspiracy theories in this show. You see the Illuminati, the fucking lizard people, mind control, a lot of shit you used to see in like the 2010s like YouTube era. And it's really good. Like a lot of these plot lines are very funny and humorous, and they are very in line with who the characters are. They all play their roles pretty well, depending on their characteristics, and they have very good and meaningful plot lines at points. And I really just enjoyed the hell out of that show. Unfortunately, Netflix canceled it, and I hate them for that. Netflix, please bring it back. And lastly, my absolute treasured, amazing, most wonderful, amazing, bestest, greatest show that I've loved so far in the 2020s era is Smiling Friends. I fucking love Smiling Friends. This is one of the weirdest and funniest shows I've seen in recent times, and I cannot wait to see what they're gonna be doing for the next few seasons, and it got canceled. Shit. Well, not canceled, but like on hiatus, and like with the announcement that the creators made, it does might as well seem canceled. Which is really sad because like it really showed like the range in adult humor and how far you could extend it and not be stuck in like the oh, fucking titties ass, fucking weird ass humor, you know? Like, it was something that should have stayed around for a bit longer. And a lot of the humor was based on the animation of the characters as well, and as well as the niche, like, internet references, which is one of the reasons it was so special to the new gen of adults. Because most of the audience that watched Smiling Friends were people in their 20s, and they grew up with YouTube and like the internet. This is their exact type of humor, and that's my humor, you know? Like, I could relate to that humor that they were showing in Smiling Friends. The super colorful and visual gags that was incorporated into the show give it a huge edge over current shows that follows a simple formula like, here's a group of friends, they go on quirky adventures, they make sex and crude jokes, now laugh. And it really sucks because we got like 30 10-minute episodes for like the entirety of its run, and it was just something that should have gotten like at least 10 seasons minimum. Anyway, I should probably head out before I make this glaze fest about Smiling Friends. I really hope that you enjoyed me rambling about this type of thing, you know? Also, when writing the script, I kind of forgot to write about Big Mouth and how much I hate that show, and for that I am very sorry. The only thing I want to say about Big Mouth is that if you've not watched it, keep it that way. Also, again, if you like any of these shows, I'm not targeting you as a person. It's just not my cup of tea, and if you like them, then more power to you then. So yeah, that's all I have to say. I mean, there's nothing much more I can think of right now, but if I do, I'll probably make a part 2. And if you like the video, then like the video. If you want to watch more, subscribe, and comment down below what shows you dislike. Thanks for watching, and until next time, bye bye.